but I just want to say that this visited Miss Hayati has now lead a team at on the Indonesia National Metrology Institute on digital transformation. Mr. Lesley, also the lead of the Souza unit at the Ghana Standard Authority, Dr. Souza, also chair the SIM Metrology work group for Metrology for digital transformation. Dr. Shanna Schönhals, head of the working group 1.24, which actually should do something with talk and source and talk, right? But on the digital transformation side, on the information technology, right? And last one, Dr. Sascha, Eichstädt. Actually, you are the leader of the Department of Metrology for Digital Transformation, but today you will represent the international forum, which is the OML Digital Transformation, Digitalization Task Group, and the IMEKO on the digitalization. So actually, on the stage today, we have representatives from Asia, Africa, Latin America, actually the whole America, and Europe, and okay. I don't think that I have only an hour. So I will actually ask you, because I already sent you a few questions, which are actually not which are 7, but I know that I cannot ask all 7 questions. But I would like to start from, I would ask you to introduce yourself. What would like the audience today to know about you? Because I already tell them who you are, but that perhaps I not everything. What you would like them to know about you in this conversation. Please, let's start from Hayati.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hayati Amalia. People usually call me by Hayati. I'm from SNSU BSN. It is the National Metrology Institute of Indonesia. So I was working at my institution since 2015, and mostly my work is related to the electrical metrology department. Actually, I'm a part of the electrical metrology department at my institution. I do much work related to the validation and estimation of the national metrology, national standard for electrical quantities in my institution. My journey in digital transformation actually started quite recently. It is about at the beginning of the 2024 when I was appointed to lead the digital transformation group in my institution. That is also when we start to develop our digital calculation certificate system integration or our CC system integration. And also at around the same time, I'm also selected to be one of the participants of the global coverage project by PTV with the same topic in digitalization. So that's those 2 experiences really got me into this digital transformation journey, and it made me realize that metrology is actually can go digital. Not only about the theoretical, but also in a real and practical way where we can make our work in a metrology become faster, smarter, and more connected globally. Thank you very much. And
thank you. My name is Lesley. I'm from Ghana, and I'm happy to be the digital transformation champion for my alumni. And my journey actually began working with UNIDO with my institution in implementing solutions for standards directories as well. And through that, we were able to implement some tools to help in terms of stakeholder engagement and community work as well. And also work with ITC in implementing softwares for our standards directory, and also thanks to PTV and the collaborate project, I'm also implementing the DCC for LMI, and issuing certificates in Italy to clients.
Hello, we have
I'm Shanna, Schönhals from PTV, and as from Shanna. Yes, and I'm from my professional background and mechanical engineer with aeronautics background, but I became aware of the importance of digital transformation in metrology when I joined PTV in 2020. And my first job there was as a coordinator of an international project called SmartCom, where some key elements of digital infrastructure that Hector just presented to us, namely the digital SI, the digital representation of SI, digital representation of calibration certificates, have been developed with several commission partners. And then I just got excited and caught by this topic. And soon after that, also became working group leader of the working group, which is actually focusing on developing the digital calibration certificates, the ICC. And then after that, I became also a coach in these nice global coverage projects where I really enjoy working with all the people around the world on this topic.
Hi, I'm Sascha. I'm just PhD, where I started almost 18 years ago as a PhD student in data science. So use of the technologies, use of software tools was kind of part of my work since the beginning. So when about 9 years ago, the president of PDB at that time, Rodolfo, asked me to coordinate the first virtualization strategy of PDB. It was like all the developments in my field was came together very nicely. And the first job there was to go through PDB and talk to all the departments and divisions to see what they're doing, what they need in visualization to talk to stakeholders. And since then and until now, I realized and learned every day that digital transformation has so many aspects to it, and there are so many individual developments that are coming together very nicely in all areas, and the harmonization discussions that we have in some other areas. So it's still, after 9 years, a very interesting topic.
My name is Rodolfo. I'm from IMEKO, Brazil. My background is in telecommunications because it's the first industry that's fully changed from analog to digital. Digitalization is something that started telecommunications in the 80s. All the systems are analog, and then the telephony, the TV set, the TV, the radio, changed to digital. Okay. I worked on this beginning of the 2000s in Brazil. I came to America to work with digital television there and after digital radio. And then we started in IMEKO a group of digital transformation to work in taking the things that we do analog way, paper, in computer, in digital format, like calibration certificates, like other process. I'm also the coordinator of a Metrology Working Group 14, the Metrology for Digital Transformation in SIM. And we work in the continent with the same goals to make the metrology digital. Okay.
Thank you. And since you hold the microphone there, I would ask you to let me start this first. Now you see that the people on the stage, except me, are expert on the digital transformation. And now I would ask them to convince you that digital transformation is necessary. Because they already told you how they got interested, right? And now, and Rodolfo could please tell us why we need digital transformation and what we need it for.
It's something that's going to happen when the steam machine was invented. The industry goes to steam machines. When electric is invented, in few years, all the economy was electrified, lights, motors, everything. When the digital computers are invented, it's not so great because it's at the 50s, 60s, it's very expensive a computer. But when the price of the computer goes down, it's spread everywhere. So it's something that is going to happen. It's impossible to prevent. It helps a lot for our process. It's very more quick, more reliable. So it's something that is going to happen, and the thing that we can do is organize the change, promote what we can do better with digitalization.
Exactly. And how about you, Lesley? Why is necessary?
Okay, so there's an acceleration of change. So as organizations, we need to evolve digitally to address change in our environment in terms of business. So in order to be an industry leader, we need to keep up because the expectations of our clients keep changing because they are being exposed to new technologies, and in order for us not to lag behind, so we need to by embracing digital transformation and knowing that it's not only that having the tools, but also having a strategy which will help drive the digital transformation.
Would like to add something because I see you shake your head.
Sure. Yeah, actually, I'm with Stefan from the and also from the Lesley. Because in the past few years, you can see actually the work is changing, right? The work is going digital. Everything is going digital. We are not only in the industry, but also in the business concept and working in our daily life. So our field, especially in the metrology, can use the old way to cover and remember. If we still do everything manually, while the rest of the world is going digital, we will end up being automated. For example, if a factory is already smart, but the digitalization certificate that technology is still in the form, still have to be scanned, and customers still have to confirm the content of the certificate technology by hand. We will just slow it down. So yeah, actually using the digital transformation in methodology to keeping up, yeah, and to stay relevant and to make sure that our work in methodology still can fit with how people and work operate today. That is something.
Shanna, do you have any? Yeah, I would see Sascha at the end. Shanna, please, we will put that up. Or absolutely right. So my task is not to summarize that very quick. So I have the feeling that we have really come to the limits of our current processing. So how we've been working for years and decades is now really changing. We're on the verge of a new era of a revolution. So AI is changing our work processes from the ground up. So like the steam machine or electric machine, now we have some things like AI and more things that we cannot even imagine or know how that will be. And we now need to really keep up with this development to get more efficient and above all, to lead our highly qualified metrologists from tedious and from repetitive administrative work. They really like to do their job. They like to go to laboratory to measure, but not doing all the paperwork. And that is what we really have to be, not calculate some conversion from one unit to the other. That they can do it much better than we do. We can keep our minds open to the things that we know. And this is part of this project, which on my part. Thank you. Sascha, please.
I've been multiple projects. Now, maybe let me phrase it a bit differently. There's this nice distinction between digitalization and digital transfer. Digitalization, I mean, it already happened, right? We are in the digital world. You have your smartphone, laptops, everything, the lab, these computers. It already happened. So now the digital transformation for us is to see how can we make the most, how can we create benefits for us, for stakeholders, for society, for economy, by using what we have there. And that requires to make some things differently than before. Use different types of configuration, use different types of data structures, data formats, and so on. So this is now part. How can we make the most of what we already have in terms of digital technology?
Thank you. So now we would like to make the most of the anyone has a different idea here? Oh, I mean, to add up. Okay. Yeah, perhaps not much now, but perhaps after a few questions more, I think perhaps I will be stimulated to ask question or to add up your opinion. Okay, and since as Rodolfo mentioned that we start the digital transformation since 2018 or earlier, and what is the, I mean, from the beginning, what is the most challenge of doing this? I mean, because when you introduce something new into the system, normally the system would somehow react in such a way that not look at it at like not a friendly one. So what I want to ask you from the beginning, what is the most challenge for seeing or for people who
the most challenge is to choose where to attack first. What's the first thing that we do? We decided for the most important product of the national calibration systems, there's the digital certificate. I don't know if there is really a reaction of digitalization, but people are comfortable with their lives and are not so interested in changing what they are doing without it, if you could not show them how it could benefit the people. So and it's hard to when we decide to work with the calibration certificates, our clients don't ask us for that. We came to the client saying we have a new technology, but they don't ask, and they even don't see the immediate benefits of this new technology, and they must see this because they must create applications to use these certificates. So this is the hard part. We have we agree all here that we have a new technology that is very new, could be very useful for the industry, but the industry don't be prepared to take this down. So we are going to take a long journey to fully accomplish the digital transformation of the BCCs, the self-fulfillment.
So, so you from your experience, you find that to identify where to attack is the most challenging.
Yes, what's the first step, things that we intend to work in this digital transformation, because we could not attack everything.
Yeah.
We have to find some main goals and achieve them.
Thank you for that. And now I have to turn to Sascha, because it's from Sim, and then you just mentioned earlier that you were asked to coordinate the strategy on the transformation, and then how about from your perspective?
Of course, where to attack first? Take your Friday. It's an important question. But what I realized quite early in the process is that digital transformation is not an IT project. It's about people. It's about change, and it's about harmonization. If you consider paper certificates, they may look a bit differently between labs, between companies, countries, and so on. As a human, you look at a paper, you see, well, it looks a bit different, but I can see how these parts come together and what it means. When you want to do digital transformation, not just a PDF document stored on some computer, but actually some software making use of the information, like you understand, extracting the information was configured to make some use of it, then you have to do harmonization because the software is not that fancy. Everyone who knows software to analyze data stored in an Excel spreadsheet knows that as soon as you change one cell there and move the information from one cell to another, your whole software will. So we need harmonization. And it also means that this is the most challenging part. And it will take so long. When you talk to computer science people, they're frustrated. They say, oh, it's all there. Just looking in the afternoon at writing the full-fledged DCC and server infrastructure for everything is ready. And it's not about IT. It's about people coming together, talking to each other, coming to a common understanding of what they are doing, coming to an understanding of what is our actual process of doing our work, and what is then the most efficient way to digitize that and then to digital transformations. The same for the international organizations like the IMEKO. When we talk about transforming the UN recommendations, which are standard documents, into machine documents. Well, what does it actually mean? If you give that exercise to a computer science person, that can be done in a week and every 6 times. But that does not mean that if there's any acceptance around what about tomorrow. Because many people start to argue, well, you did some semantic extraction there and there, but actually I understood that differently. So when you look into standards or into vocabularies like the vocabulary international metrology within, which is our basic terminology metrology, there is interpretation built in on purpose because people have to argue about it and come to a common understanding, bringing in words. If you now want to translate that to a machine understanding of it, then we have to again have less arguments and be more precise about what we actually mean. So again, it's not an IT project, it's about people empowerment. That's the challenge. It takes long.
I think that you that out for us. And now I turn to my colleagues here, because Carolia already said, told their story. And now, for both of you who are to start doing this job, and what is your challenge? The most challenge really, and stuff.
Okay, for me, the most challenging thing is how we make our top leaders in my exhibition become confident that this digital transformation is something that is really important. So Because I say this because the condition of the digital transformation work in my institution. Actually, the digitalization work in my institution is very fast at the moment. So some of our methodology department already have already developed their automation system in their methodology department, but they will it by themselves without coordinating each other. In our institution, we also already have our customer portal. It is a digital customer portal, and it is actually developed by another team, and it is also managed by another team, completely separated from the digital transformation group that I lead at the moment. So I feel like everyone is actually already running in the some direction, but it's like they're running in the different way. Like yeah. So only at the beginning of the 2024, our management start to aware that we really need that we actually need that group for the digital transformation. So that's why at the beginning of the 2024, we have our own digital transformation group with me as a leader. But the condition is at the moment all of the members of under the digital transformation group is actually also the technical staff for methodology department. So we in everyday work we still have to do our regular work in our technical methodology department while we still also doing work in our digitalization. So it is very challenging because yeah, we have to divide our time between our regular work in our department and our work in the digitalization. And also, actually, this group, this digital transformation group, is not like formal organizational structure in my institution. It is like an ad hoc team, ad hoc team with as I said before, with the member is also all of the member is also a member of the some of the methodology department. So when we are run of the budget, yeah, actually at the end of the 2024, we have Indonesia President Exchange, and then one of his policy is major budget cut off for all of the government institutions in Indonesia, and including my institution. So since 2024, we have no budget for digitalization work, especially for our specific development. So this condition actually so how we actually get a stronger support of the institution. So if for example we already become the formal structure of the my organization, my institution will give us the funding. We will become priority to physical funding, for example, or it will be scale for us to hire for the developer and also for the complicated developer department. So the most challenging part of the digital transformation journey in my case is how to make this digital transformation work become more formal and then become one of the institutional organization that is practically something like the side job on the exploration.
But when obviously people share your challenge
Okay, so first, I believe that there should be a change in mindsets. That's one of the challenges that we experience. And in my computer science class, there was one student that, first of all, we need to change our mindset towards digitalization. That's one of the challenges. And this might sound a bit funny. So way back when we were trying to move things cloud, and some people were like, so what if it rains? What happens to our data? So people don't really understand what technology is all about and what they are in for. And also, there's also resistance to change. So it's normal that when you introduce a new, you introduce someone to something new, they tend to resist the change because they are used to their old ways of doing things. And so that was a challenge as well. And having management to understand digital transformation, because most of them believe that, oh, it's just an IT thing, so just give it for the IT department, they will handle that aspect. And in the long run, the IT department will now develop a software which it gets to a point where it's no longer in use because there was no collaboration, there was no stakeholder involvement, and so it gives a lot of pressure to the IT side, and then later you realize that your work is not being used or appreciated. Yeah, so that's some of the challenges we also face from our side. And as well as funding and people also having the excitement to also join the entire digital transformation thing.
Thank you. And Shanna, I would not ask you this question, the same question, because I would like you to answer a different question. This different question is I would like to ask you to somehow summarize the achievement so far of the digital transformation movement across the board. And I think you have to include that in that framework. Of course, yes, I will be also because there's almost nothing to add to what my colleagues just said. Yes, I think we've seen a little bit, maybe if you pay attention to Hector's talk, one of the major achievements that I consider was some kind of what we've done with this digitalization transformation community is to have the awareness at the highest level of CIPM, DIPM of the importance of digital transformation. And then they even included that in their resolution to have the digital implementation of TSI, the certificates, it was all there. So they have recognized that how important it is, and they installed this forum on metrology and digitalization on a very, very high level to work on this, to enable this community to communicate, to do the harmonization that Sascha just spoke about, and to make it a sustainable one, to give it the importance that it needs so that you can refer to this and say, well, it's even there. But it's not only this, it is also stakeholders that now, and this is unfortunately changing. So from what Rodolfo said, when they say, why do we need it? Now we have stakeholders, and those are among the biggest companies that we have, for example, in our country, the pharmaceutical industry, that they say, this is the way to go. And they implemented in production mode. They say, we will not accept any analog or PDF certificates from January 2027. We will only have digital validation certificates. And this is only one of the biggest achievements that we could have. And it will spread, the word will spread, and that will blossom. Okay, so the most impressive achievement so far is that we got the high level to see and to set the priority on this, and also we get the stakeholder to recognize and to push, actually to really push you, and not only pull but also push next. There's both directions, and that's the way how we can explain happen. Yeah, thank you. And you for doing you have anything to add up to Shanna about the achievement so far?
Yes, I agree, Shanna. The aims to start to work with the calibration certificates, they have very big challenges. We had a difficult time, so the velocity of the speed of changing is quite challenging. AI was launched 2-3 years before the large language models, and nowadays what's it? We have to do we prepare everything starts moving 5, 6 years ago, then everything changed. It's hard to keep in that with the development of the technology and deliver to the industry products that are useful for a long time. This is not a short time goal. This is not a short time project. We think that these developments like the CC and other things that we are doing is stay with the industry for a long time in the time change. So I think this is the point that we have to.
Thank you. And may I also ask Sascha, not this question, but I would like to ask you about the next challenge. I mean, because now we already, you and you already mentioned about the past challenge. Now, what is the next challenge?
Let me try to answer this question by also putting some points from question before. I think the next big challenge is what we know for already mentioned, that it is how we're going to address the age of AI, the era of AI. So to say. This is something that we there's not a question whether or why, but what we need to do to do that. I mean, all these AI methods are here today. They are in use and in all aspects, also as Metrology point of view. And the challenge there is that there are so many questions regarding trustworthiness, quality, reliability, similar to what you had 100 years ago regarding measurements. So we are again in a very challenging situation. And now talking about achievements and how they will help us to tackle that challenge, address these questions. Like 8 or 9 years ago, when we as a community metrology started to digital transformation, there were several communities being established, several groups all around the world coming together in various formats. But to me at that time, it felt like, well, they are different formats, but it's always the same 10 people coming together in different constellations and talking different situations. And now, I mean, if you walk around the room and look at the posters from the public, all around the world, you see that as a community, as metrology, as an infrastructure, we have grown in terms of digital literacy, in terms of the use of digital technologies and the use of digital transformation and computation. We heard about the CIPM. I think it was 2022 when the statement of intent was being established. I mean, a statement of commitment of the international bodies of quality and science infrastructure to collaborate in digital transformation, move forward together in administration, standardization, metrology, conformity assessment. And that's a huge impact. And all this helps us to now be far more ready than we were maybe 4 or 5 years ago as a metrology community to talk about AI, to talk about what is needed, what are the next steps, where do we need to attack next, to make sure that we can answer those questions, especially in those standards, especially in those certificates. Those are all very important aspects to bring reliability to AI, to make sure that the large language model really understands what we are talking about. Because it's written there in a machine learning format, context understandable by machine. This is an important step. So the challenge is clear. And I think we are in a very good situation because we have so many achievements, not only in technology, but as a community.
Now we are more ready than like 4 or 5 years ago to deal with the next challenge. And okay, we still have 20 years. Okay, and from your perspective, would you like to add something to
Because actually a new player in this field of transformation. I think I have no additional point about the next steps for the digital transformation in a general way. But I see the case in my communities in Indonesia. Actually, the most challenge is about the awareness. It is if I talk about basically in my country. Because if you talk about the technology itself, actually it's not a big deal because we can learn from the knowledge and we have community and methodology, so we can try also. But actually, this the output of the disease, the goal of the disease is not should not stop at the NMI level, right? So our community, our industry should aware that we have a DCC and what is the benefit of the DCC. But the current situation in my country, which is Indonesia, where we are asking about, we need a DCC. No, we don't need a DCC. Why we should comfort with it? It's not for us. And it is not very normal as well because I realized that they don't know deeper about what is the DCC and what is the benefit that can be useful from the DCC. So okay, in my point of view, yeah, maybe how we can make people how can make our stakeholders industry or secondary laboratory, secondary graduation laboratory in every country also know what is the DCC, what is the benefit of DCC, for example, and what we should convert our values and certificate to the digital.
The next big thing is where we need to start from or where we need to continue from there as we had. So just as such as trustworthiness and also looking at capability and also security as well. Because as we are making headway in all these advancements, and there's a need for us to also look at the security aspect of it and also how to protect our data as well. So that's where data protection also comes in. So there are a lot of avenues for us to actually look at where we are going to continue from here. And so there should be a need for us to engage more and identify the areas of want.
I think now I would like to ask the last question, and I will ask you all to respond to this question. Because Metrology, from the this is useful because we share the mission, we share the mission units here. And so it is internationally from the beginning. And I think also from the artist part of the political infrastructure. So my question is that what is the most important key to the digital transformation of political infrastructure in global scale? Who would like to start first? Sascha.
With the rest to repeat myself. No, it's also again about people about communication, about harmonization. The joint statement of intent, coordinated initiated by the CIAM, was because of the realization that it will not be sufficient for only Metrology to do digital transformation, to work on the certificates, to work on the digital system of units, because the certificates are being used in performance testing. the certificates have to be accepted by accreditation bodies, by end users. The units are not only in measurements in metrology, but are also part of standards where there are tabular data on maybe how to do measurement or in legal metrology and how to verify a weight instrument that we metrology. So the realization was that we need to come together and collaborate. We need to come together and at least start talking to each other on what we are working on. Because it was clear from the beginning that all of these different bodies of technology infrastructure, they do digital transformation already. Different pace, with different perspectives and different focus and different points. But still, they are doing it. And the anti-quality infrastructure is a system where various elements are working together, and to make sure that this also still works in the digital era. These different individual developments have to come together. And from this international level, that trickles down to the regional level and the national level. For instance, in Germany, we have the initiative UI initiative, which is an initiative where we about 4 years ago came together with the other bodies of the quality infrastructure in Germany and started to look into developments of common use and also common understanding. And one particular example is bringing together accreditation and metrology. And the result of that was a machine-readable accreditation attestation. So it is, which means that we now have the possibility to have a certificate that can be understood by software, together with a statement of accreditation for the laboratory to also be understood by software, which is a huge step because that enables automation in industry and other elements of qualifications. And this is only possible if those groups come together and share a common understanding and then also do joint developments. And so this has to be on all levels, on the national level, on the regional, and on the international.
And you already mentioned about stakeholders, right? And the quality infrastructure bodies are also your stakeholder. And you might be able to answer my question about how to the digital transformation of the infrastructure as a whole. Not only in your country, but everywhere you imagine or the global scale, including because you have Sascha is in the position to talk about it from the whole perspective, but from the National Metrology Institute and from the national level, what would you like? How would you like your partner in the country and in the regional and in the region or in the global to work with you or to support you?
How to make our stakeholders supportive, more supportive for our result of the digital transformation, right? Yeah. Start with that. Okay, yeah. I think because currently I'm still working on the internal in our institution because we are actually phase 2 in this digital transformation journey. What we do to make our stakeholder support our work in digital transformation is doing something like awareness raising. Yeah, so and then we also provide them. We also offer them to do a plan project with our institution. In a automation system or in how to develop their very first PCC if they want. is how one of the way how our stakeholders can support it to our economy.
Thank you. And I turn to photo. And from the same perspective, I mean, how would you like to work with your public infrastructure partner? See, on this digital transformation.
We have more or less the same challenges of the Europe. Seeing in the regional scene, the economies are not so integrated as in Europe. We are more have economies more isolated, but the commerce and the change of goods will be improved very a lot with if we could manage to make a consistent set of information about some good that are produced in some place with parts of dozens of different countries, and then have to go to another to shop to the stores, and someone buy it. We can improve the specifics of we can improve. We have a lot of questions about this. We can improve the cyber security of the products. The challenge of the economy is going high, and we have to we need these tools to address this challenge. We have different kinds of products, we have different kinds of services, more integrated economy throughout the world. All this you need some coordination of the quality infrastructure. Yeah, I can say my country, we have the same goals. We are considering using this technology to integrate all the parts of the quality certification, performance assessment, and in the same data space. To be helpful for the industry, to be helpful for the customer, to be helpful for the people.
So I would say that one of the most important things is that if all countries can align their digital transformation with international standards, and it would help build trust amongst all countries. So, for example, with the DCC, and must be implementing various LMIs. So it's easy for someone to have a certificate in Ghana, and when you travel outside to, let's say, Malaysia, and that same certificate would be understandable amongst everyone, and that would help this one the global scale, because if everybody is doing their own thing and there's no harmonization, we won't be able to achieve the level that we want on the global scale. Yeah, and so there's one thing that I think ISO is also going to help. So there's one project we are rolling out in Africa, which is the mass digital maturity assessments, and also there's an ISO AI network that is trying to get all member states to be able to have one way of implementation of the digital transformation too.
Thank you. And before I turn to Shanna, I would like to add into that same question. I would like to perhaps both of you and Sascha, if you could mention about the digital product certificate, because I think it is something that would fall the whole system. But let I mean this let understand first.
Yes, sure. This is actually a very important
is a digital product passport, which is one very good example how that we work to integrate all members of the digital quality infrastructure of the whole chain in one place. You have one envelope or bookshelf or whatever you call it, where to place all the quality and relevant documents is essential, and have a global standard or standardized way to do it is helping everyone. It helps really a sustainable and harmonized development of the whole global quality infrastructure. And this is actually what it's all about. And there are projects going on with this to standardize this. This is also if you talk about the DCC, where people ask me, well, if if the DCC is accredited and signed in your country, will it be in Europe? And will it still be accepted as an accredited and really digitally signed document in my Asian country or in my Latin American country? And there should be a organization and same is also to have it like the whole infrastructure, not only for this one example. The information is one for every pieces that will need to put together to build safe and reliable products and high quality, and this quality is trusted because what we do with this quality infrastructure is creating trust. So the metrology's work was creating trust, and all the other actors in this quality infrastructure also work towards building trust in the services and the products that we develop. And this is one of the most important things, creating trust in the work that we do to build sustainability.
As I said at the beginning, the world is already digital. So many, not all aspects of our daily life are based on digital technologies. And the digital product passport is one outcome of digital transformation, making use of that information. We all have experienced situations where we buy a product and there's a QR code in the product giving us access to the manual provided by the manufacturer. In some areas where we have a QR code, I think also in Thailand, the metrology body is providing QR codes to access information about the verification of that product type. But if you continue that trend of thought, you realize, well, that would mean that all of the players responsible or have some responsibility for that product, the product must be very large because they have to have place for so many QR codes. And then you have to have a map of where to have which QR code. So that doesn't work. Instead, the idea is let's have one and digital nameplate and some kind of a QR code like thing you go to, and then you have not one central database, but one system where information from various sources come together and being made available to the end user, to market surveillance, to accreditation, to people doing maintenance, and all the other players to all have one place to go to and find the information when. That is digital transformation because it offers new possibilities, like what Shanna said, have kind of a bookshelf for all the quality related information about that, safety information, the resources used for that material, information about recycling opportunities and possibilities, information that are relevant for regulation, and so on. And the interesting part here is that digital product passport did not come out from some research project on digital transformation that came out from regulators saying we want to have more transparency in the supply chain. Let's use digital technologies for that. You have everything on the table. It's not rocket science. You have it all there. You just have to find a way to use that. So they said, well, we want to have a digital product passport. And then more and more companies said, well, if we have to do that anyway, to make our regulators happy. Let's use it for our own purposes. Let's use it to transform the way we provide quality information and so on. So that's what digital transformation is. Make use of that in a new way to make benefit for everyone.
Thank you very much, and I think you have made it in time. And I would like now to thank all my panelists and also the audience who and I hope you got some information and got interested in the digital transformation. I don't have time to summarize what you say, but I don't think I need to do because I think you're already doing a good job. With this, I thank all the panelists. Thank you very much, and may I ask for the big approach for my